congratulations to all of you guys. I wanted to just quickly chat a little bit about the importance of group messages, the importance of ATMs, like how to set them up, why we do them, how to not make them weird, the appropriate amount of time to do them, okay? So remember when Facebook used to cut you off at a minute, right? Like you had 60 seconds and then it cut you off. Jess and I like loved that because it was like our GTFP motto, just get right in for what it is. And now it goes over that and it's like in 2 minutes and 4 minutes. And I'm like, oh, at this point, we should all be on a call type of thing. But I want you to remember, if you're putting leaders in the messages, right? So if Jess is in them, if Anna's in them, if Holly's in them, Brandy, Erica, Ashley, me, Sherry, Laura, Kisa, whomever it may be, that if I like get off my Peloton, right, and I look at my phone, I'm like, oh my gosh, there's like 20 messages. I like cannot wait to respond to all the ATMs, but they're each like 5 minutes long. I'm like, oh my gosh, like how in the world do you even like begin to start to listen to them? And so I want to just first of all remind you to be brief, right? You can go back and forth once you're actually messaging, you can go back and forth on a call, but that initial introduction, I want you to think about breaking it up into like 3 20-second segments, right? Right in the chat, you guys. I want to see how many segments. Okay, 3 20-second segments where the first part is you edify the person, right? You're edifying who it is that you're connecting. Then you are edifying the person that you've added into the message, and then what you want them to do. Okay, so you can do the other person and then the prospect and the other person, but the idea is you're introducing them. So the same way, if I'm sitting at, coffee with Emily and Yvonne walks by and I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting them to meet anyways. The same way I would introduce them if we were like in person sitting there. I want you to do the same thing over group text. So if I'm sitting at coffee, with Emily and Yvonne walks by, and let's say Yvonne's from my spin studio, and we've been wanting to do things together, and Emma's one of my business builders and really good friends. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe you just like walked by. I've been wanting to introduce you guys anyways. I'm like, Yvonne, this is Emily. She's the other nutritionist that's on my team. She's had rapid success. She's absolutely amazing. And Emily, this is Yvonne, my friend from spin class, who I've been talking about the products. I know she could absolutely crush it with us. And I've been wanting to introduce you guys anyways. We should set up another time to get together and show you the richness of our compensation plan. So the same way I would do that in person, you want to mimic that. You want to do the same thing online. Okay, so think about that when you're doing the introductions. You edify both parties, and then what do you want them to do? So this is what I hear often. Like you're like, oh my God, this person is so amazing, and oh my gosh, this person is so amazing, and then it's like, and the next party is like, what do you want me to say? Like you got to tee it up of what you want them to do. So I'm going to give you a few more examples of this, but people always say like, when do I do it? Or like, how do I do them that they're not weird? And literally, you guys, I can't even tell you how powerful group messages are and group texts are, and being able to edify somebody, being able to have that third party validation, being able to see the community, like for all of the reasons, how absolutely important it is to do the group messages. So I left a networking event the other day. I've got about 10 people's, business cards, like briefly chatted with them. And I was like, don't worry, I'll be in touch with you. And I did these reach outs as a group message, right? Based on what I thought their needs were and what they told me. So for example, I'm picking on Emily again tonight. Sorry, she's busy with a baby. But she just had a baby, you can tell, and she has a really powerful story around what the collagen does for maternal health around the belly. And I had talked to a woman who had just had twins, and she had told me like, will the collagen help with my stomach? And so the group message was like, oh my gosh, Emily, I have got to introduce you to Erica. She's amazing. We met in a networking group, and I said, she's asking me a lot of questions about the collagen and wondering if it will specifically help with her stomach after having 2 babies. And I would say, I've never had babies, but I wanted to introduce you to my friend, Emily. She's another nutritionist. We work really well together. She has a great story on how she researched collagen and what it's done. I would love for you to tell her story. Emily, tell her your story, tell her what you love. And I said, I'm also going to add you into our VIP community page so you can see a ton of success stories. And when you're ready to order, I can drop a discounted order link in here. And it was quick, right? So I left the networking event, and there was someone else that was specifically asking me about nail health. So I did a similar group message, right? I would say, Erica, oh my gosh, I, met this amazing girl in the networking group. She's asking specifically about, will the collagen work for the nails? You've had the most bananas results. I know you've been able to stop wearing shellac and whatever else because of the collagen. And I would say, Erica, meet Kristen. We met at this networking group. She is so fabulous. She's stunning. She's specifically asking about the nails. Will you show her your pictures? Will you just tell her how much you love this, what it has done for you? Same steps. I'm adding you into our VIP page so you can see more success stories. Here's a 2-minute video that tells you what sets us apart. And when you're ready to order, here's a discounted order link. Okay. And those are all with the product. But I do the same thing with the business. So when I see someone that has a skill set, and I want you guys to type in the chat right now, what do you think traits are of someone on your dream team? Like, what do you think attributes are of someone that you would love to have in your business? Because I know what I'm looking for. Confident, absolutely. Great one, Emily. Tell me, influential. That was the spelling check, but Laura wrote influential. I think that's like an influential in another language. Passionate. I'm like, I was trying to read it. I'm like, I don't know that word. High energy, committed, consistent, great. So like, you guys know when you're looking for someone. So when I see someone like that and I say, I have got to chat with you, like you would be amazing at what I do. And the group message is the same when I get their information. And I would say, Laura, oh my gosh, I just met the most dynamite girl in our networking group. She is confident. She is like absolutely stunning. She's so influential. I feel like she's the type of person that could tell anybody to do anything and they would do it because she's trusted and respected. And I think she'd be amazing at what we do. And I said, I want you to meet Laura. She's my #1 income earner. We're the best of friends. We've been business partners for almost 9 years together. She has the most incredible story. I want you to hear it from somebody else besides me, how amazing and special this opportunity is. And then we can set up a time to chat and go through it a little bit more, right? Just for Laura to be able to go in there and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you met Lauren. And, here's my story, and get everybody excited. So when I message people online, I don't necessarily immediately put them in a group message, but pretty shortly after. So when I'm like, hey, Christy, stumbled on your page. I said, I'd love to know more about your story, tell you a little bit about what I'm up to. I love to connect with other women entrepreneurs. I don't do that in a group message, right? We all have to do our own prospecting. But the minute that someone's like, what do you do? They're a little bit excited. Then I would do the same thing immediately into a group message. Christy, meet Leah. We're great friends. We work together. Leah, meet Christy. And then what's the rule, you guys? How many seconds for each category? I mean, if you're like, blah, 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 like no one wants to listen to that. You guys, I will ooze isogenics like head to toe out of every cell of my body. But if I'm like, oh my gosh, what are you talking about? The prospect is definitely like, I don't have time for all this. Okay. And then I know you guys always want to type them because it feels safe. You want them to hear your voice, right? Like let them be excited, like let them catch your energy and just put people in, let them see the community. You never know when things are going to come up. And it doesn't mean like, it's like, oh, I connect them, then I sent the video and then they enroll. Sometimes that happens and that's awesome, right? But sometimes you become friends with people and then something happened, like I saw someone in my team who just had to put a dog down, and I went back to one of the group messages and said, oh my gosh, like so-and-so just had to put their dog down. I'm praying for you. I want you to know Lori's here for you. We're praying for you if you need anything. And it keeps showing the community that we really care about people and we're really here for you because that builds trust. And if you talk about a legacy business with people, they want you to know that you're in it for more than just the sale. Okay. I do it with returns. Like if someone's like, yeah, your 7 days kind of gross and I'm bloated and I have a headache and I don't think I really want to do this, like I'm going to do a group message and you'll introduce them to someone that had headaches and was a little bloated and didn't like the shakes at first and then crushed it. They can go in there and be like, stick with it. Stick with it. You're already halfway through, it's only 7 days or whatever that may be. And so when you're thinking about your group messages, you guys do this with your prospects into your business builders too. So if you led with the products and you're like, oh my gosh, this person would be amazing. I don't know how to talk about the business. Put them in a message with someone who loves to talk about the business. Okay. So, I mean, Leah on our team, Jenny Thompson on our team are so great at doing this, but then they'll say, hey, they came for a 30-day reset. They're loving their products. I wanted to show them how to get their products for free. I wanted to introduce them to the Eat for Free program. This is Lauren. She's helped hundreds, thousands of people be able to get their products for free. I wanted you to have another line of support. And that way, when they're a little bit timid or they're a little bit nervous, I can go in there and be like, oh my gosh, like, let me tell you, these products are amazing, but they're even better when they're free. Who do you know that puts on pants and breathes air? Because everybody can use a detox. Everybody can use the collagen, right? Like, I'm sure your mom wants to do this. I'm sure your neighbor sees you as like the ever shrinking person or the longest lashes or making money or whatever it is. And be like, ask them. And it's walking them through the steps. It's teaching PVC. And so I think sometimes there are people who are absolutely extraordinary at group messages, and I'm in them all the time. And then there's some people that I'm like, have you left your house and have you talked to anybody in the last year? Because I don't think I've ever been in a group message with you. And I'm trying to figure out why you're not doing this, because they work. And I don't want you to think like only newbies do this. You guys, Jessica Rigner still does messages for me. I still do messages for her. Erica put me in a couple messages before she came to Denver. I put Erica in messages. Like, we work cross-line together. You're putting like-minded people together that can cast the vision, that can validate our products, that can show the community, that can, show the energy, the enthusiasm, and they work, and it's just letting people just take the skepticism out of it and be like, okay, if Laura can do it and Lauren can do it, I can probably do it, or if it worked for Sherry and it worked for Amanda, it'll probably work for me too. Okay. So I want you guys to put a 1 in the chat if you're committed to doing more group messages than you are right now. And I want you to put a 2 in the chat if there was something you learned tonight that makes you feel a little bit more comfortable on how to set them up. You guys can reach out to us at any time. I mean, Jess has trainings on this. I have trainings on this, and our business pages on YouTube. We will help you with them. You can role play with us. But I promise you, if you feel like you're talking to people and you're not getting the closes, you're not getting the enrollments that you want, start utilizing these group messages. They are so powerful. So that being said, I'm going to totally pivot into celebration, but I set that up on purpose because you guys are going to be so excited. You're going to be talking to people, and one of the very first steps of these hot leads is going to be able to do some group messages. And I love the call that Ann and Holly did and Joel last week, and they had some great, speakers on, like Anna Nicholson and Denise, and it was fabulous about the value of celebration. We were like, we're 3 weeks out, we can get people to still get a flight, get a hotel. We want you there. But as we get closer to the event, one of the things that we really feel strongly about is, what are you going to do when you leave the event? Like, we don't want this to just be an expensive girls weekend. Now, we're going to have a heck of a time, right? And put a 3 in the chat if you already have your neon outfit, because I love the things people have sent me. And I'm like, is this neon? Is this bright enough? Like, Denise is like, 3. Of course, Denise had her neon outfit as soon as we announced it was a neon party. She goes first. But of course, we're going to have so much fun, and the gala is going to be amazing. There's many people on the team getting recognized. It's so special, but there's a lot of energy and there's a lot of excitement. But the event, the part of it not being how you want it to be, is if you are like, rah, 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 and then you go home and you go right back in to regular schedule and nothing shifts. And so it was so funny, actually. This is how twinning Laura and I are. But I had some notes down of like, this is what I think you should do coming out of an event. But I just texted her like right before the team call. I said, what are your best tips to tell someone coming out of an event? Our lists are identical. I was like, well, that probably says something. And so if there's leaders on here, like Erica or Denise, there's something that comes up that you want to definitely say, please either unmute or type it in the chat, but in no particular order. I just was thinking about like, what had I known in 2013, or what maybe worked in 2014 or 2015 or something now that we want to teach you guys. So when you come out of here 10 feet tall and bulletproof, you really have the steps and you really have a game plan to crush it going into Q3 and Q4 of 2022. So the very first thing I'll tell you, and for anyone taking notes, you can put this in the chat, is have an accountability partner and having a running partner. And when I say have an accountability partner, that does not mean have your best friend that is fun, right? And you're like, oh, we're going to do all these things together, but you don't really hold yourself accountable. Like when I say have an accountability partner, like that is someone that is going to put the pressure on you. That's going to hold you to a standard higher than you probably hold yourself to. Someone that's really going to make sure you're following through on the things you did because they want the best in you. Okay. And so you guys have heard that Jess and I were running mates, that Janny and I pushed each other. And we were so competitive with each other, so competitive, and never in a way ever was it like, oh, I'm going to beat Jessica, or Jessica was like, I'm going to smoke Lauren. Like that was not it. But it was that, oh my gosh, if Jessica put in 3 value packs in a week, I can put in 3 value packs. Why don't I go for 4? Like, why are we stopping ourselves? And we were having so much fun in the momentum. If you guys look back, ISA Derby, 2014, we were number 1 and number 2 in the company, and we alternated like every other week, like the points, right? And like Denise will tell you, like Tony Barbie and people who have been here since the very beginning. And that was, we were pushing ourselves because we were so excited. We would check in on each other. How many people have you enrolled this week? How many rank advancements have you had? Who's going 5-star? Who's going 1-star? Who's going 2-star? Like, what do you have going on in the pipeline? And it was fun. But if I ever like had like an off week, and I didn't have like double pibs or someone didn't get back to me, let's say I was going to go for a goal. I was like, I'm going director this week. And I thought I had it all mapped out, and people weren't getting back to me or they weren't responding to me. And if Jess had been like, hey, how's it going? I said, yeah, I don't think it's going to happen this week. Like, Jill didn't call me back. Angie didn't call me back. Like, I don't think director is going to happen this week. She would never, like literally never have said, you're right, you should probably just not even go for it anymore. It's not going to happen. She'd be like, okay, who do we know? Who can we follow up with? Have you done this? Have you offered ISA delivery? Have you matched your crystal consultant bonus? Have you offered free shipping? Like, have you gone through this person? Did you ask for another referral? And just drove me to really be like, oh my gosh, I can do this, right? Like those times that you start to waver in your belief, someone else is like, yes, you can do this. And here's a game plan for you, right? Here's a different roadmap. When you think about the accountability, it's someone who is going to say, hey, did you get on a work call today? It's someone that says, did you do your reach out? Have you done a reel? Did you post on social media? And you'd be like, oh yeah, the baby was sick and my husband worked late and I had a headache today. And they're going to be like, okay, cool, next week, right? You want your accountability partner to be like, their life is always going to be busy, right? There's always going to be excuses. There's always going to be inconveniences. And especially when you come out of an event and you declare something amazing, resistance comes up. Just expect it right now. Open the doors to it because that means you're on the path to greatness. Like that is how this is. So it happens all the time, but you have to be prepared for that, right? And you have to be able to say, like, no matter what, like I'm holding myself accountable to this. So number 1 is an accountability partner. And if you would tell me right now you have an accountability partner and your business is in the exact same as it was in New York Kickoff, get a new accountability partner. Okay. I love you. That person's your friend. Go hang out and drink wine with them or do something else. But your accountability partner should be able to like look at your LIA and know if you're like on the leaderboard or you're not, right? If you're doing the things or if you're not. So that's the very first one. The second thing is you really want to have a daily method of operations. You really want to be able to have time blocked your schedule that when is mom time? When is my other job time if you have one? When is my recruiting time? When is my team building time? Like when are team calls? When am I doing an event? When is my morning routine? And be crystal clear on that. For anyone who's ever seen it, and if you ever are curious, I'm happy to send you a screenshot of it. But my calendar is very time blocked and it's color coded. So I can open it at a week's view or a month's view and right away be able to say like, ooh, you have a lot of pink on there. Like that's a lot of fun time, right? Or I can look at it and be like, ooh, you got a lot of red. You got a lot of appointments. You've got a lot happening right now. But what I see is what people have like child pickup or, daycare drop off, or they've got their job, or they've got Bible study in there, whatever gets blocked off in their time. And then it will say isogenics. Okay. And then people sit down for their isogenics business hour or business hours and do this. Like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I blocked off this time. Oh, I should probably listen to another podcast, or, oh, I should probably scroll through social media. Hang on just 1 second, you guys. Sorry, I'm just closing my office door. My puppy pushed his way in here, and I don't need the whole family to listen to me chatting on you guys on the team call. So just close the door. But anyways, and so what happens is you are like, you block off this time, but then it's, what do I do in this time? And I think the more that you can be clear on is that you blocked off the team call. Monday nights, 9:00 Eastern, non-negotiable team call. Or is that you put in a power hour. I know Brandy hosts them. I know Janelle hosts them. Like we host them, to say, I get on the Thursday noon power hour. I get on the Friday 6 a.m. power hour, whatever it is that's in your schedule. And you're going to do that. But then to be clear on, if you just block off an hour of isogenics, what is your IPA sheet? So is that like your income producing activities? Is that you do 3 reach outs, 3 follow-ups, you post on social media, and you do your birthday messages? Okay, maybe that works for you. Or maybe you're someone who on Monday does all of your reach outs. You want to do like 20 prospecting messages, but Wednesdays are your follow-up messages, or Fridays are the days that you do the compensation plan with people. I personally don't like to work that way, because I think if I only block out one day, and if that doesn't work for another person, like when in the heck is that ever going to happen? So I do chunks of time, but I'm pretty clear on it that, I'm not in managing mode. If I'm just supporting the team and I'm just training, or I'm just doing 3-way calls, or I'm just teaching the compensation plan, like when is my time to reach out to new people? When is my time to follow up with people? And so that's what I have color coordinated. So like when I look at my daily method of operations, without question, my morning routine is blocked off. And like, it better be a dang emergency, literally, if you think you're interrupting that, right? I get up really early on purpose, because at 9 a.m., my phone is going bananas, right? And a lot of people are demanding my time. At 5 a.m., no one is demanding my time. My phone is not going bananas, but I can block off that I have done my manifestations, I have done my intentions, I have done my workouts, I've done my reading, I've done my gratitude. But like that time, if someone's like, hey, can you get on and do a Zoom at this time? I don't do it, because then every other thing throughout the rest of the day, my energy is not in the right spot. I'm frustrated that I didn't get my workout in. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't get on another call because I still haven't run yet today. Like, I don't want to feel that way. But I'm like, man, if I get this like all knocked off, I'm ready to go. Like, bring on all the ATMs, right? The minute ones, just kidding. But bring them all on, like whatever it is, I'm here and I want to work with you and do all of that. So then for me personally, I block off like recruiting, right? Like that's red. So that's when I know I'm sending messages. I'm posting on social media. I'm doing birthday messages. I'm doing reach outs from people I met at events or networking events. A different color later on in the afternoon, because I don't sit here for 8 hours, so I go out and I go to the gym, or I go to coffee, or I go hang out with people, or go to lunch or whatever. And I come back, and in like the afternoon, I have a different color, which is a lot of my follow-ups, people that I sent a cart to that didn't close it, people I chatted with, but they wanted more information. I also block out different times for 3-way calls. So I don't, if someone's like, hey, can you do a 3-way call? I'm not like, yeah, here's my whole week calendar. I can say, yeah, I can do today at 2 or tomorrow at 6, and I'm being able to give options. So taking some time right now before you get to Orlando, before the event, to get organized on your calendar. There are some great tools from Isogenics, like daily method of operations and IPA sheets. I know that Emily Sutherland just made a great one. I had one from corporate that we had done. Eric Rothenberger has your 4 15-minute blocks, that kind of 4-quadrant hour. Some really good things out there, but you want to be able to look at your business and say, have I done some personal development? Have I done some social media? Have I done some reach outs? Have I done some follow-up? And have I done some team development? What I mean is like working into your team, teaching PBC, teaching them how to post on social media, teaching them the compensation plan. Because you'll find people who are amazing sponsor monsters, right? They've enrolled a bleak ton of people, amazing sponsor monsters, but they don't have a single rank advancement because they're just enrolling, and they're not developing their people. Or you see people who are in total management mode, right? And they're just like telling everybody else what to do. And maybe their cycles are consistent, but they're not in LIA because they haven't brought in new energy to the tree. So it's a way to kind of reevaluate that. Erica and I just talked about this when she was in Denver last week, but for me, social media, 8 years ago, you posted on social media, you had 5 enrollments like that. I mean, you had like 20 leads from one post. That is not the way it is right now. And we're very consistent on social media because there are still people coming and learning about it. But more than anything, it builds credibility, So I'm out and about, and then someone goes to my page and is like, oh, she's actually telling the truth, you know what I mean? Type of thing. But I don't post and think a bunch of people are going to enroll. Sharon, I don't actually know except to Google, or they're in the files of our Dreamers in Action page or the Team Win Builders page. But like if you type in Emily Vavra, like DMO or IPA, they might be from her website. I know they're out there. And Emily Sutherland on our team call, Sharon is asking, I would just send her a direct message, M Sutherland on Facebook, and just say, hey, can you send me the one you made? It's really good. And she kind of took a collection of a lot of different things that worked for her and built in mom time and things of that sort. So start to time block, you guys. And I'll just leave you with this when it comes to time blocking. I used to work a lot of jobs before Isogenics. And when I was personal training, I could not be bartending. And when I was bartending, I couldn't be teaching spin, right? And when I was teaching spin, I couldn't be at the like catering company or whatever that is. And I would like change my hat to hat to hat. So I would go from like literally personal training and then get ready and go to the bar or whatever it was. When you're thinking about building your Isogenics business, I know we talk about doing this in the pockets of our time. And it's true. You know, you hear moms all the time in carpool line, they message 4 people, they get all their birthday messages done. You can be very efficient. But at the same point, if you have a full-time job and that's what you're doing, you need to do your job, right? And when you're doing Isogenics, do Isogenics, but just block it off, start it then, and then walk away from it. I know some people say, I don't want to send out all these messages because then they're all going to come in the next day and I'm busy and I can't respond right away. Here's what I'll tell you. If I call my dentist right now and I say, hey, I need to come in for my annual cleaning, I can tell you my dentist is not responding to me tonight. My dentist is actually probably not even responding to me tomorrow. But by the end of the week, they will call and say, oh, hey, your cleaning is scheduled in 6 months, right? Like whatever ends up happening. And we put that pressure on ourselves. But if people are really interested, I don't want you to feel like, oh my gosh, if I don't text back right now on my date with my husband, I'm going to lose this lead. No, they're not going anywhere, right? Now, if you message someone today and you try to message them in 2 months, they probably enrolled with somebody else. But you can give yourself some grace. So just like I would clock in and clock out of different jobs, when I am out with my family, you guys, I'm not doing Isogenics, like messaging people in ATMs and that. I mean, sure, if I meet someone and it's an organic conversation, but when I'm here, like no one's in here bugging me, and I go out, and that will give you freedom with this. But the way that you have freedom with this is if you're really diligent. Like if you are truly blocking off that time that you can put your head down on the pillow and say, I messaged 5 people today. I followed up with 5 people today. I posted on social media. I responded to the ATMs, and you figure out when that works best for you. Some people want to sit down at 2 hours and do it all at once. Some people want to do it in and out of other jobs or in and out of different appointments. There is no right or wrong way to do this. We all organize ourselves, but I'm telling you that if you come out of celebration and you don't have a time blocking schedule, if you don't have some type of tracker for your activity, you'll miss the momentum. So the third thing, so the first we talked about having accountability. The second one is your daily method of operations and like time blocking, your IPAs. The third is setting goals. Now, here's something that I want to be really, really candid about. I know as soon as you talk about hitting goals, almost everybody who's not a red is like, oh, right? The reds are like, the bigger the goal, the better. Like, how high can I jump? How fast can I run? Every other color, yellow and white and blue, is like, oh my God, I hate to set goals. I think one of the things is just understanding, like, what is it that makes you not want to do that, or setting goals that really align with you and putting the purpose behind them. So if you're someone who immediately got like the cringes, own that. I love you guys. Put a 4 in the chat. If I said the word goal and like your stomach like did a few like flips. So you're like, she said the G word. Okay. Thanks, Amanda, for your honesty. I know there's a lot. They're like, why do you always want me to set goals? See, Susie, there's some of you that are like, oh, I don't want to do that. If that is you, stop focusing on the actual number, but the energy behind it, the excitement and the reason why you want to have that goal. Okay. So for example, when I used to coach people as a personal trainer or nutritionist, and there was so much attachment to the scale, and they'd be like, I need to lose 27 pounds by this date. And I was like, why not 28? Why not 24? Like, what's this 27 about? And they thought like something magic would happen when they saw a certain magic on the scale. And I said, what does this number mean to you? Like, why do you want that number? And then we could lose ourselves in the idea of like it being fun to shop, right? The pants that they wanted to get in, they thought would be able to fit them. They would have the energy for their kids. They wouldn't be self-conscious on rides at amusement parks with their kids. Like whatever it was that would come out, I was like, how about we just stay focused on that and shift every day to getting this goal to like getting back into your clothes in your closet and feeling great and like ditch the scale. And so when you're thinking about like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to enroll 20 people and I have to have 200 conversations and I need to make this amount, it does become really stressful. But like, why do you want that? If it's to pay off a credit card bill, if it's to take a family on vacation, if it's to be able to splurge and do an anniversary trip with your husband, like whatever that is, think about all of those efforts, like all of those reach outs, all of those sacrifices of not watching TV or getting up earlier are getting you closer to like, what do all those enrollments do? Like no one like wakes up in the morning and is like, oh my gosh, like I hit my goal because I had this many enrollments. It's what those enrollments of the lives you're impacting, the way your income is changing, the freedom you're creating, the stress you're eliminating that come with that. So I want you to kind of think about that. But when we talk about goals, you guys, I would encourage you to have a 30-day goal. I would encourage you to have a 90-day goal, and I would have an end of the year goal. You know, I would be very realistic on like, what can you do the first month coming out of celebration? I mean, we're all going to have our energy off the charts, you know, that you're going to be so confident and so excited, but life is going to happen, right? People are going to get sick. We're going to have family drama. We're going to have spousal drama. We're going to have issues with work. Cars are going to break down. There's going to be bad weather. The internet's going to go out. I mean, something is going to happen, but that you stay in this for the long course. And if you have never looked at it, I mean, you can Google Isagenix 90-day game plan. They've got a few different versions from other past events, but it kind of tracks out, you know, the goals back with the time blocking. So if you're saying, okay, I want to enroll 2 people in a week, how many people do you have to talk to in a week? How many people do you have to talk to in a day? And it will help you reverse engineer that. But I remember coming out of my very first event, and Jess and I will talk about this, and we held each other accountable. I mean, we declared like bold things, like how many executives we were going to create, when we were going to go 2-star, when we were going to go 3-star, but it was everywhere. Like our life depended on it. And I want you guys just to think about that. Like if you're going for executive, like that deadline is coming up, why is that important to you? You know, and what is your action plan to get there? If you're not necessarily focused on director or executive, which you should be, there's a lot of money in the leadership pools, and when you get paid as executive, but you are focused on impacting this many lives, and you want this many new customers, or you want this many new rank advancements, but to spend some time and think about it. Maybe it's a financial goal. Maybe you need to save a certain amount of money. Maybe you want to pay a certain amount of debt off, but realistically, what can you do in the first month? What can you do in 90 days, right? That's 12 weeks. And then where do you see yourself by the end of the year? You know, how did you start 2022? How are you going to end it? How are you rolling in to 2023? How are you showing up at New Year kickoff? Like, how is your lanyard going to be different? How many more people are you going to have in the seats in Phoenix than you have in Orlando right now? I mean, just to think about that, this is all catapulting from one step to the next. When we're thinking about, I'm bouncing around just a teeny bit here because I forgot something, but with your daily method of operations and those income producing activities, having that daily schedule, having that weekly schedule, but also in a month. You guys, I want you to like put a big picture of what you do in a month. So for example, I used to do weekly launch parties. Now I do them monthly. Okay. Just the place I'm at and the way I want to be able to help other people. If I do my own every week, if Emily says, hey, come down and do an event with me, or Kathy says, hey, come down and do an event with me, I start to tie myself up. If you're brand new, you can do them weekly. You can definitely do them bi-monthly. But if you look at your, calendar in a month's view, and you're blocking out the time of how many reach outs, how many follow-ups, one of the things I cannot encourage you enough is to schedule an event. So that is actually the 4th thing that I want to make sure you all do before you get to Orlando, or like by the time you leave, have your next party or event scheduled. So whether it's, cocktails and cleanses, cocktails and collagens. I'm headed to Wyoming for one of my new builders. She's an esthetician for a Botox and bagels event. We're going to have the collagen there. I mean, you can make these super fun, but I want you guys to have that planned. I mean, at the end of August or the beginning of September, to say people are getting back in school, they're back on track, vacations are over, and have something that you're already inviting people to. Your energy is going to be so high at that event. You're going to see so many people and you're going to think, oh, I wish I'd had this person here. Oh my gosh, if this person had been here. And that's when you can just reach out to them and be like, Susie, oh my gosh, I would have done anything to be able to have you with me in this conference in Orlando right now, and say, I know you were unable to make it, but I am having the most fabulous cocktails and collagen ladies night out on, a week from Thursday. I would love for you to be my guest. I would love for you, to come and bring some friends. I can tell you what I'm so excited about. Please let me know if you're able to make it. It would mean the world to have you there. Right. And I don't want you to just create a Facebook event and invite every single person in your feed. Like, if you're doing these regularly, you can hand invite people, because you want quality over quantity if you're inviting people into your house, right? I don't need 100 weird people in my house. I want my team players that are confident and excited and fun and enthusiastic and healthy and everything else in my house. But I want you guys to get your event planned. Okay. Put an exclamation point in the chat if you're committed to scheduling a party, an event, either before you leave or by the time you come back. So the last little thing that I want to just tell you, and I think if I'm doing this right, this should be number 5. Denise was taking notes. I love all these explanation points, but I think if you're doing this, number 1 is to have accountability and a running partner. Number 2, your IPAs and your daily method of operations, just getting organized and time blocking. To number 3, to plan an event in your party. I just forgot 4 somewhere. My notes are everywhere because I mixed them up with Laura's. But here's the last thing I'll tell you. Someone else can chime in and I'll get organized in my head here in a minute. But if you guys can feel my energy right now, I know you know what's up. I cannot wait to be with everybody. Like, some people were posting on my page and Isogenics and other teams. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have not seen them since the very beginning of 2020 or the end of 2019. Cal and Chris Nish were sending me some pictures of things from when I trained in 2019. And I was like, oh my gosh, it feels like forever ago. And I'm so excited to see people. I mean, my energy is high and we're not even there yet. Okay. I've got some new girls that I'm working really closely with that just make it fun when you see people who are so excited and they're so coachable. And so my energy is high. You guys are going to come out so excited from that event. You're going to see people walk across stage and you're going to go, oh my gosh, if she can do it, I can do it. You're going to see your team that you're celebrating, and it tugs on your heart of just everybody else that you want there. That I want you to think about your true dream team. This is the last bullet point. I think I'm on number 5. That your true dream list. All right. I know we talk about chicken list because what happens is you think about their influence, or you think about if they said no to you, that level of rejection that could be a little bit uncomfortable. So I don't like the word chicken list, but it's the same concept. But your dream team, right? You are a coach of the NFL, the team going to the Super Bowl, and you get a hand select your quarterback, your lineman, your running back, your all the different positions. You're putting this together. I want you to imagine right now, you are the coach of your Super Bowl team that is going in, winning the playoffs, headed into NYKO. And who do you want on your team? And why do you want them? Okay. So some random girl on Instagram that has 1 million followers that you think is going to be really good for the brand ambassador program. Maybe not. There's people already in your life that who are highly influential, who care about people, who are faith-filled, who want to lead people better than when they made them, that want to make an impact or income by impact, all of those things, and have that list, because this is where I'm bringing it all the way back around for you. You can do the group messages from Orlando with the people you're with. I have a brand new girl coming right now who is so excited, but it's a big stretch for her to come, away from her kids and the cost to get there. And I believe, and I say, you know what we're going to do on Thursday afternoon? I said, we're going to go lock ourselves in a room for an hour, and we're going to call your dream team people right with me right next to you. And she's like, really? You'll do that? I'm like, watch me, I'm like, I want you to have your list and just be able to be like, okay, I think Molly'd be amazing. And we're going to send those group messages, right? She's going to be like, oh my gosh, Molly, I cannot wait for you to check out what I'm doing. I'm sitting here with my friend Lauren, and both of our energies, that people on the receiving end are I don't even know what these girls are doing, but I want to be a part of it, because they feel it and they're thrilled. And then they watch us. They're like, how are all these hot chicks that are fit, that look 10 years younger than they really are, in neon clothes at an ice bar? Why am I not there? you create this instant FOMO. You guys, they're going to do a discounted ticket for NYKO. They always do. They promote event to event. That's one of those, like, I'm literally going to buy extra tickets as soon as they're on sale and tell people, I already have your seat for Phoenix. Will you commit to going with me? Because you couldn't come to this one. And that's the energy that we want to build upon. That's the way you want to invite people into. And that's the way Erica's talking about tickets are $129 and you can get up to 5 of them. Thank you for that. I love that she has all the insight. But to be able to just imagine the next class, right? Like looking at the people in the rows and be like, I'm so grateful you're here. We're 10xing the amount of people who are going to be with us in January. We're 10xing the amount of people who are going to be with us in celebration a year from now. And if you really have that game plan and you really hold yourself accountable, this event has the ability to change your entire life. When I tell you your entire life, no matter what, it'll be fun. No matter what, you're going to hear great stories. You're going to see great music. You're going to hug a lot of people. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to make a lot of connections. No matter what, it is worth your time. Some of my very, very, very best friends, literally in the entire world now, are in this company, not in any way financially linked to me, but we met at an event and we talk and we FaceTime and we do, virtual happy hours. We've traveled all over together. There is no lose in this. There's no way you're ever going to be like, that was the worst 2 days of my life. I can't believe I went to that. No matter what, it's going to be amazing and it's going to be incredible. But it is truly up to you from after those couple days in Orlando, what you do in the next couple weeks, the next couple months, for you to look back and be like, that was the best investment of my time. This gave me an ROI that is making me unstoppable for my family. This event is literally catapulting me to my dreams, to my goals, to surrounding myself with like-minded people, to being able to attract in a different type of leader, and just being able to continue to go with it. So take the time. And literally, when I told Trudy to post the event, she goes, aren't you doing this like after celebration? Like, she literally thought I was like ahead of the cart in front of the horse, or whatever that saying is, because we haven't even left yet. And I said, no, I want them all next week to be thinking about this. I want you to have it, that when you're packing and you're shopping and you're getting organized, that you're going, I wonder what I want my September event to be called. I want you to be making that dream team list, so that when you're excited and you've just heard this great story and you go potty and you run into Lori in the bathroom, you'd be like, will you do a group message with me right now? And Laura's like, I would love to do it, if it's a minute long, right? And so I just really want you guys to have this. And I want to leave you with this. Think about your accountability partner. You might not know them yet. It might happen organically when you're in Orlando, right? It might be someone not on either of our teams, which is great. You guys, Jamie Lynn Curley and Renee Schreibman on other teams, 2 of my best friends, have been accountability partners for me over the years. Bethany Krause, you guys probably see her on the leadership boards. Like, we check in with each other all the time, and hold each other accountable. It might not be someone that enrolled you or is cross-line to you or downline, but you might be sitting in the event and meet someone. And I have really, really, really great, things ahead of me. Like, let's hold each other accountable. Let's get to Fiji together. Let's have 5 people each at, NYKO, whatever that is. But I'm planting these seeds on purpose, that you have time. I don't want you coming back from celebration that Sunday night, tired, you've traveled, you've been away from your family, you've got to get ready for your job on Monday, and not doing anything. You've got to get into instant action. And the only way to do that is really, really plan for it and be prepared for it now. So take the next week or 2 and get organized. Start to block off the time and have those conversations with your family, right? If you just come out of this gangbusters and they're like, what in the world is she doing or is he doing right now? You're not going to have the support. So it's important to tell them, I'm coming out. I'm committed to 90 days. These are my goals. This is why I'm doing it. Get your kids on board. Let them be a part of the why. Let them be a part of what it is you're working so hard, that they understand, that you don't have the mom guilt, that they give you grace, that you're working hard. Like, tell your husbands, tell your wives, like whatever it is that you need to do, so that you come out, you're crystal clear. The runway is crystal clear, and you guys all soar all the way into Q3 and Q4. Thank you so much for being on here tonight. Happy, happy, happy Monday. Let me know if you want to see my calendar or my sheets or need anything. I can't wait to squeeze the mess out of all of you guys in Orlando. Have a great night. Bye, guys.